Bathing in Japan is a way of life. It's an art, a cultural custom. In addition, taking a hot bath daily is known to be very healthy and relaxing, an ideal way to relieve the stress from your hard day at work or school. A hot bath will help open up your pores, it's good for your circulation, and many people say it helps cleanse the soul. There are very few countries or cultures who prize and value taking a bath as much as the Japanese. Most Westerners who live outside of Japan usually take a morning shower for daily hygiene and to get ready for work or school. In Japan, the bath, or ofuro in Japanese, is always taken in the evening when people can take their time and relax and enjoy the bath. The purpose of the bath is also to clean and for hygiene, but there is also so much more to Japan's bath culture. And in today's video, I will give you a general overview of what is included in the daily bath and some cultural context on taking a bath in Japan. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Mike Matsuno, the man in Japan. I'm originally from Hawaii and have lived in Japan for over 25 years. On this channel, I talk about life in Japan and what it's like to live in Japan. If you're interested in this type of information and content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Sometimes people mix up the images of bathing in Japan. There are three main types of baths: the home bath, the public bath known as sento, and the hot springs, which is known as onsen. In today's video, I will be talking specifically about the home bath. And if there is further interest about the sento and onsen, let me know in the comments below, and maybe in the future I could make another video on these related topics. The first big difference: in America, when we want to use the toilet at someone's house, we usually ask, "May I use your bathroom?" In most US homes, the toilet, bath, sink basin where you brush your teeth and wash up are all in the same room called the bathroom. In Japan, the word for bathroom is ofuro or ofuroba, but there's no toilet in here. It's strictly for taking a bath, exactly what the word says: bathroom, the room that you take a bath in. To give you better perspective, in Japan, most homes, condominiums known as mansion, and apartments are much smaller in size and scale than in their counterparts in the US or other Western countries. Also, usually in the US, most homes have at least 2 bathrooms, sometimes even 3. In Japan, many typical basic size homes and condominiums have only 1 toilet, 1 bath or furo room, and 1 sink basin area for washing up. So this is the toilet room. Look how small it is. This is as wide as it goes. It's only to come in and use the toilet. It's very practical. Here's the toilet. It's the washlet toilet, of course. I recommend everyone to get one if you can. It will change your life in every way possible as far as daily regularity. But also, here in the back is like a water faucet. Clean water comes out of there and you wash your hands there and it goes into the tank. And then later on, that tank water that you had washed your hands with is recycled into the bowl. And then that is then flushed out later. So actually it's one of the best concepts, I think, to recycle the water. I don't know why it hasn't caught on in other countries outside of Japan, like in America and other Western countries. I think it has to do with this idea of toilet water, being unclean, and that you feel like you're using the water from the toilet, but actually that's clean water coming in, going into the tank, and the tank goes to the bowl and the bowl goes out. For example, this is where you wash your hands, but this is the practicality of a Japanese toilet. So let's think about this. If a home in the United States had only 1 bathroom where the toilet, the shower and or bath, sink basin to brush your teeth and shave and wash up were all located in 1 room, it would mean that if someone was using the toilet, no one else could use the shower or sink basin area, correct? So in Japan, the toilet, the basin, sink area, and the room to take a shower or bath are all located separate from each other. It means that if someone is taking a bath or shower, someone else could be using the sink basin area to wash up, brush their teeth, and another person could be using the toilet. This maximizes the space so 3 people can be using the bath, sink basin area, and toilet at the same time. It's a very efficient and well thought out system to maximize the use of limited space. The only places you see toilets, bath, and showers in the same 1 bathroom are in hotels, apartments, and some smaller condos where everything is more like a studio. Outside of these places, in most homes and larger apartments and mansions, you will have 3 areas separated by at least a door. The second big difference is that Japanese bathtubs are much deeper than the typical size in the United States. Many homes in the United States have only standing showers, and those that do have bathtubs, they are usually not very deep, and most of the time you just shower within the bathtub. So you either take a shower or a bath in the bathtub. You cannot do both at the same time in the US. In Japan, you can do both. First take a shower outside of the bathtub, then soak in the bath. This is how deep it is. I can actually hide, and I'm kind of big and fat and about 5 feet 8, and I can actually hide from the camera within this deep bath. So as you can see, the Japanese bathtub is very deep, and that makes a big difference. For example, I'm going to measure. It's about 50 centimeters here, which probably is about 20 inches. In America, the bathtub's standard size usually is about maybe 13 to 15 inches high. So the Japanese bathtub is much deeper. But I think the big difference is that in Japan, you can fill it up as high as you want. Because if you can fill it to the top, your whole body is in the water. Your whole body gets heated up and warmed and relaxed. So in Japan, you have a drain right down here. So anything overflowing goes down the drain. Whereas in the United States, the bathtub is 13 to 15 inches, and you can't fill it up all the way to the top because outside of the American bathtubs, there's no drainage usually, which means you would have a problem if you spilled water on the floor. You'd have to go and wipe it up, or you don't want it leaking out or leaking down, right? And if you're really big, you go in, the water's going to overflow, so you have to also compensate there, and make sure that you don't fill it up too much. And sometimes when you get in or you move, you create a tsunami effect, right? Splashes out in the back or the front, and you got to clean that up also. So taking a bath in the United States, it's kind of mendokusai, kind of troublesome that you have to worry about when I get in and not to move, right? You got to be very careful not to move. I move like this. Look at that. Look at behind me. So the tsunami effect, but the drain can take it off. Hollywood movie images of people taking a bath are usually of people taking bubble baths and washing themselves within the bathtub. Of course, in Japan, you don't wash yourself in the bathtub. That would be a cultural taboo, like wearing shoes inside the home. The bathtub is supposed to be just for soaking your body, to relax and relieve the stress of the day. The process is that when you first get into the Ofuro room, the bathroom, you will use the shower to wash yourself outside of the bathtub, and after you're completely clean and have finished showering and rinsed off all the soap and shampoo, you then enter into the hot bath and sit there for as long as you feel comfortable. Since you have washed off all the dirt and have a clean body that enters into the bath, a family or sometimes friends who live together will share the same bath water. What I mean is, after the first person finishes, they don't drain the water, they just cover it with the Ofuro cover. That keeps the water hot, and then they leave. The next person would come in, take off the cover, soak, and when they finish, cover, and then leave. And it continues until the last person is finished, and the last person will then drain the Ofuro. Recently, newly built homes and newer hotels have a thermostat-controlled bath, which means that there is an embedded heater and water dispenser located in the front near the lower part of the tub, and will keep the temperature constant at whatever you set it at. And the last person just has to remember to turn it off, or we will continue keeping the water hot throughout the night. The temperature that the bath water is set is usually very important and will depend on the family and who in the family likes the bathtub water hotter or less hot. The usual average for Japanese is about 43 degrees centigrade, which is about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. This may be too hot for many non-Japanese, but you can adjust the temperature to what suits you the best. The usual range of temperature of the bath water in the Japanese Ofuro is usually 40 to 43 degrees centigrade. So in the United States, most people stand and shower. So and most of the time the shower head is embedded into the wall. And you stand because you're not there to take your time. Usually you're just doing it to wash and quickly get out. But in Japan, bathing and showering before is more of a relaxed enjoyment time. And so a lot of Japanese will sit and they will shower here. That's why there's two holders, one for when you stand and the other here for either children or for when you sit. You can remove it, and having a removable shower head is really, really important and easy and nice. There's also a mirror here. For many non-Japanese people will think it's strange because why would you watch or look at yourself washing and showering? Well, there's a couple of reasons. You know, for example, when people shave and things here, it's good to have a mirror so you don't cut yourself. Second is that before you get into the bath, you want to make sure that all the soap and the shampoo is off of you. So it's a good way to check before you go into the tub. Another very important thing is the cover. And this cover is used to first cover the tub and run the water in to keep the water hot in the tub. The second function is that when we cover the tub and we're washing and showering outside, shampooing and washing ourselves, many times soap or shampoo could fall into the tub, but the cover on the tub keeps the soap and shampoo from going into the clean water. Another thing that Ofuro or bathrooms in Japan have are these screws like this. You know, it's usually plastic. It comes at different heights and there's different styles. And people like to sit. The other things you may see in a Japanese Ofuro room or bathroom is like a scooper. This is like a little bucket with a handle. And this is normally used for, you see this a lot at like the hot springs and things. This is to scoop water out and maybe rinse yourself off before you go in. That's like at the public bath or at the onsen, the hot springs. Another item that you see a lot is this. It's plastic and it's like a shallow bowl. And what it is people also use it to scoop up water. But a lot of people will, after they use a towel, they wash their towel, they will use this to rinse the towel and then wring it and then clean their towel off in this. So that's the function mainly of this. In the bathroom, usually maybe just outside, would be like plastic boots. And these plastic boots are for people so they can come into the Ofuro room, and usually the floor is still wet or moist. This prevents you from getting your socks wet or your feet wet. Now my feet are a little bit too big, so I don't have boots, so I had to get this type of slipper. Another thing you might see, it'll look like a net, like a small net with a little handle. That's a skimmer. And what it is the water in the tub is clean and people wash and rinse before they go in. But you know, no matter what, maybe some hair or some small debris will still may get into the tub. So when you're finished, if you look into the water and you see something floating on the surface, you can get the skimmer and you can skim and catch all the hair and the small little debris that might be floating on the water. Another thing you might see is like a sponge, but usually they have a sponge on a plastic like stick. It's extended. And that's to use so people can wash the tub from outside the tub in a standing position, and they don't have to go in and scrub it like this. One of the most important things, the bath towel. Now in the United States, I rarely see people use a bath towel. Usually people just use soap with a bar of soap in their hands. But in Japan, almost everyone uses a bath towel. And when you go into a Japanese bath, many times you see the water might be a little murky or a little cloudy because people put different things into it. Like in America, they put Epsom salts or bath salts, where these are similar. For example, these are onsen powder. They come from different onsens. It's written here, and supposedly the powder in here is the same type of minerals that are in this onsen are in this packet. The other thing that I recently have been using, instead of this, I use these tablets. These are like giant fizz tablets that you put them in and they it's like a big Alka-Seltzer. They fizzle and they enhance the water and, you know, supposed to give you that nice smell. So you have all different kinds of items and products and things that are needed or used in the Japanese bath. You know, you would think that just bathing would be a simple thing, right? Or showering would be a simple thing, which it is normally. But in Japan, because it's like a way of life, you know, it's like an art, you know, to have all these different things next to the washlet toilet. That's my favorite thing, and I miss that the most when I leave Japan. After that, the second thing I miss is the Ofuro. I miss the daily hot baths. I love that feeling of going in, you know, being immersed up to water up to my neck. Taking a bath in Japan is the true Japanese experience. And especially when it's in the winter or when it's cooler or cold, you cannot beat taking a hot bath after coming back from outside when it's really cold or dark, or you know, you're just tired. The bath is like a sanctuary. If you like the content of this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. See you on the next video. Arigato. Oh, this is great.